Hey guys, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Kostas and this is my 2017 Forester XT. I think I'm going to put on some sunglasses because the sun is right in my face. Now, a quick recap. So a couple months ago we had some engine issues. We had a lot of white smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe and a pretty rough idle and cruise as well. Turns out that we were losing compression and one of my pistons was damaged. I had a pretty significant chunk of it missing. Still don't really know how that happened. It might have been from a tuning issue or something like that in the past, but it's still pretty crazy how all that catastrophic failure had happened. Anyway, moving on from that, we basically brought the car to Prime Motoring and they had the engine fully rebuilt. So what we did in order to get the car up and running properly again, we went ahead and installed an IAG Stage 2 short block. So it's a little bit stronger than a Stage 1, but it's not a closed deck, it's still an open deck block. We went with a Tomioka Racing GTX 29 Turbo. The reason why we went with this is because there was a little bit of play in the stock turbo. I think that the stock turbo still could have been utilized, but I didn't want to risk anything. If the play in the turbo did become a little bit more significant, we might have had more issues down the line, so I kind of just wanted to do as much as I could this time around to not have to deal with it later. So a couple of little things that were installed together with it. We had ARP head studs installed, Grimmspeed head gasket installed, Killer B ultimate oil pickup, a Mishimoto thermostat, IAG Full TGV Housing, and we also replaced one of the lines on the CVT cooler because it started to kind of disintegrate a little bit. So as of right now, we don't have a dyno figure. So for those of you who aren't familiar with how it works right after an engine build, you have to go on a break-in tune or a base map, let's say, for a little bit, and there are frequent oil changes. So the oil we're on right now is a 10W40. It's basically a break-in oil. It has certain minerals that are needed to properly break in an engine, and IAG has their own protocol of how to go about it in order to properly break in the engine and what intervals to change the oil at. So their intervals are at about, I believe, 50 miles, 100 miles, 500, and 1,000, something like that. After that, I could switch back to a synthetic oil, like a 5W40. And normally the OEM FA20DIT motor takes 5W30. You can use 5W40 on it, but IAG recommends that once you switch back to synthetic, you stick with the 5W40, specifically by Motul. So we picked up some Motul, we've got that. And we also have another goodie coming down the road. After the motor's all broken in, we're going to go ahead and get a E50 tune from Mike Body. So if you guys aren't familiar, Mike Body is one of the best FA20DIT engine tuners around there. So compared to the EJ motors, when you add ethanol, the gain that can be made from ethanol on the FA20DIT is a lot more, not a lot more, but it's greater than what you would get on an EJ. And it also greatly reduces engine temperatures. So for me, the biggest thing right now is reliability. I want this engine to last as long as possible. I basically want to run this car into the ground. It's really about how long the CVT is going to last. But yeah, so that's the plan. So E50 is going to probably yield us, hopefully, around 300 to 320 wheel horsepower. And the torque number, we're shooting to actually keep it lower than 300. So on my previous tune, we had it tuned to around 280 wheel horsepower and 316 pound-feet of torque. So we're gonna try and basically flip those numbers and make more horsepower and less torque just to keep the CVT happy. So yeah, that's basically the plan for now. So I'm just gonna drive this thing as much as I can in order to get it to the 1,500 miles. And then I'll update you guys whenever we do the tune with Mike. Also guys, I just started a Patreon. If you guys really want to support the channel, it would really help me. I'll leave the link down in the description and on the screen right now. If you want to go ahead and support me there, I basically offer a little bit more exclusive content and things like that. If you click the link, it'll basically tell you all the different exclusives that you'll be offered. So go ahead and check that out. That would really mean a lot to me. And we actually have a little bit of merch coming up soon. So by the end of April, we should be getting in some keychains. I'll let you guys look at it right now. Ooh, looks cool, right? Guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I couldn't have done this without you guys. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, liking it. We basically built this mini community on YouTube, on the channel, on Instagram, and honestly in my town as well. So it's really cool. It's like a very little niche group. I know that we don't have a ton of subscribers, but that's not really important to me right now. What's important is to just get as much content to you guys as possible and have fun with the car, really. So thank you guys again. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.